So glad we got that question answered. Are there any other questions? Any other comments that someone would like to make?
I have a question. I become very concerned that these kinds of things happen and we go up and we find them. Who's been held accountable during all this time these are not things that just started happening. Who's been held, who's accountable for these things?
Well, I guess ultimately I'm the one to be held accountable. I'm not sure specifics. I mean,
I don't want to talk specifics because to me this, and I agree with both Dr. Johnson and Ms. Manchin, to me that this is just, there may be a couple of mistakes in here, but you know, when you came up and talked to us and said that I guess we just didn't know what we were doing or how to do something, or those were your words, and I'm just going, whoa, that really scares me. Or I guess, you know, we put somebody into a position that was a speech pathologist in particular that's not qualified to save money. I mean, who's accountable? Or who's stopping and saying, no, this is not state code. We can't do this.
excuse me, sir, our speech pathologist is qualified.
Well, maybe the person was wrong, but
The
the discussion that you made was that somebody was coming in, you were paying $50,000 for this person to be there, because it stuck in my head.
Yeah, because we could not find anybody that would fill the position when we tried to fill it. I mean,
But it was my understanding that the person who you found that was paying as a contract worker was qualified.
yes, and I did recommend that person.
Else. Well, again, those are the kind of questions I think we have to ask ourselves as we vote, because the best interest of the children is not being taken in, from my perspective, is not being really looked at. And I don't think there's an individual sitting in this audience or an individual in your county that woke up this morning and said, I'm going to really mess over kids. What we're saying is it's just not happening. What needs to happen is just not happening. I don't think there's any attempt.
Dr. Seal, I think the hierarchy here is the same as it is with the state board.
Yes.
The superintendent is responsible. However, it is up to the board. They do the hiring and firing.
Mm-hmm.
And if things are not acceptable as far as they're concerned, then they fire
Absolutely.
the superintendent. And I think that is the answer to your question.
Thank you. I think so.
Other questions or comments? Would you state your suggestions again, please, so we can have a motion one way or the other?
The recommendation, if you need some copies of it, I have additional copies, but that the Gilmer County system be placed on non-approval status and that a state of emergency be declared, that intervention occur in the operation of the school system, and that delaying any intervention for any period of time would not be in the best interest of students. And that the intervention occur in the areas of finance, facilities, personnel, instructional programs, and policy development.
I so move.
It has been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The motion carries. And at this point now, we need to ask the superintendent for recommendations on